You better get your sergeant out here,
now
okay?
You're verbally assaulting
get your
me.
sergeant out here.
There's something wrong with this guy. This guy.
I can do that. I can tell you to off. I want a sergeant
Step
here.
out, and you're gonna get tased. As a Denver cop.
And
really?
I know my rights too, buddy. You have no right to do this.
Yeah, this is just so agitating. In Adams County, an on-duty police officer is doing 80 miles per hour down a highway when a vehicle catches his attention. He pulls over to see what's going on. That's when he meets Barry, an off-duty officer who can't believe he just witnessed a police officer driving over the speed limit. I've seen this video going viral all over social media, with people unsure which cop is right and which cop is wrong. So as an officer with 20 years of experience, let's react and break this video down.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Everything okay?
Yep. Can I get your name and badge number?
For what?
What?
For what? What do you need?
So I know who I'm making a complaint against.
For what?
For speeding.
Speeding?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I have you recorded doing 80 miles an hour in a 65 mile an hour zone.
Okay.
No headlights, no sirens, nonchalantly. Apparently you drive like that all the time.
Now look, at this point, the on-duty officer hasn't done anything wrong. He approaches the vehicle calmly and does exactly what he's supposed to do. And almost immediately, he's met with hostility. At this point, the officer should attempt to de-escalate the situation. However, things turn out not to be so simple.
So I wanted to film hypocrisy at its finest.
Okay. License, registration, proof of insurance.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Because now you're in.
No, I'm
Yes.
doing nothing. If you're going to start this shit, if you're going to start this shit, you get your sergeant over here.
License, registration.
Get your sergeant over here. Get your sergeant over here.
License, registration.
Get your sergeant over here.
License?
No, I ain't giving you shit. Get your
pulled
sergeant over here.
You pulled over on a traffic stop, so you had to.
I didn't pull over on your traffic
Yes, you
stop.
did.
I pulled over here because I had to answer my phone.
No.
Yeah,
License?
that's exactly why. You're not getting shit from me. If you're going to keep this up, get your sergeant out here.
License, registration.
You ain't getting shit from me. You better get your sergeant out here,
Now
okay?
you're verbally assaulting
Get your
me.
sergeant out here.
I do not care what the situation is. If this guy is actually a police officer, then he has a clear understanding of what this police officer is doing, why he's doing it. The way this guy is coming off, I am 100% all in and finding a reason to give this guy a ticket. The only thing I would do different, as soon as that guy asked for a sergeant, I would bring a sergeant out. I would immediately backed off and brought a sergeant out to have someone else there, because this guy is not going to cooperate. I don't even think he's identified himself as a police officer yet. Let's see if he does.
License, registration, proof
Hey,
of insurance.
I can do that. I can tell you to off. That's the First Amendment. If you got a problem, get your sergeant out
License,
here.
registration,
You ain't
proof of
getting shit from me. Get your sergeant out here.
Okay.
I'm asking for your sergeant for the last time.
And I'm asking
Get
for
your sergeant out
No.
here. Well, you
License-
ain't getting my shit.
License,
You ain't
registration?
getting my shit.
License,
You
registration,
ain't
proof-
getting nothing.
Okay, then I will arrest you for obstruction.
You do that, buddy, and I'll sue the out of Adams
Step out.
County.
Step out.
Got it.
Step out.
You better get a. I want a sergeant here.
Step out.
I want a sergeant
Step
here.
out, and you're gonna get tased.
Come to get paid. I have a weapon right here. Where?
I'm all in at this point as far as the way this officer's handling it. Because this guy came off, he pulled him over. I'm assuming, I'm under the assumption that he had a legal reason to pull him over. If this guy is a police officer, the fact that he hasn't immediately identified himself as a police officer, if this guy has a gun in the car, he has a responsibility to let this officer know that he's a police officer so it's not spotted or there's no issues. The confrontation that this guy's initiating it's outrageous. But I don't even think these guys know he's a police officer at this point.
You have a CCW?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, he's a Denver cop, or he's a Denver cop.
And
really?
I know my rights too, buddy.
Okay.
Okay, now that this guy has identified that he's a cop, because he is acting in the way that he's acting, I'm gonna treat this guy exactly like I would treat anybody else, even with more precaution.
You want to get me out of the road here so I don't get run over?
Thank you for being compliant. Greatly appreciated.
Not a problem.
Let me just check your hat real quick. Alrighty, sir. He said I was doing 85 and a 65, and he's just recording hypocrisy at its best. So then I asked him for his license registration because he pulled up on my traffic stop. So I was dealing with him second, and he wouldn't give it to me because he's a Denver cop and he knows his law, his rights.
So, how exactly did he obstruct?
Well,
That's what we got to clarify.
he's video recording me. So I was asking for all of his information. He was like, he's not giving it to me. He wanted a supervisor.
He was just video recording?
And then when I was asking,
Did he walk up to your stop?
No. But then
You don't have obstruction?
This guy's not articulating the situation right. He probably doesn't even, well, he probably realizes why he did it, but he's legitimate in everything that he's done. That guy was acting in a way that was so aggressive, being so uncooperative, not allowing him to conduct this investigation, even get to the point where he's going to write a citation. He won't identify himself with an identification. There was no legitimate reason for him to be behaving the way that he was. But I'm not necessarily looking to take this guy into custody for obstruction. I'm trying to write this guy a citation, and this is where we're at. And I did what I did because he escalated the situation.
But when I was trying to get his information here,
David Adam Robert William versus Charles Henry
Right.
Adam Robert Lincoln Edward.
he wouldn't give me his information here. He wouldn't identify himself here. It's weak.
Yeah.
It's very weak, but, and I can care less that I say it on the camera. And I asked him to step out, and he stepped out lawfully. Just wouldn't identify himself. It's weak, but I got it.
What he's saying right now is this officer is trying to articulate to this one striper that I've got this guy in custody for obstruction. The elements of obstruction really, if you twist it, you could come up with it, but then you'd be putting effort into taking someone into custody. The elements of obstruction are weak, extraordinarily weak. The problem with the direction this guy's going is we need to get off that obstruction. We need to realize that that's not the situation we're dealing with. That's the mistake you've made. This isn't obstruction. This is a police officer that has been agitated and non-cooperative.
I'm driving down 85. I'm leaving Brighton. I'm on my way to the Ford dealership to get my core back on a starter. I'm doing 65. This guy passes me, and I look at my thing, and I'm doing the speed limit. And he passed me, pretty aggressively. I started to go to catch up to him because I wanted to pace him to see how fast he was going. He was going about 80 miles an hour. I recorded it.
This guy says he's driving 65 miles an hour. He sees an officer pass him, and he makes the decision to pace a police officer to see how fast he's driving. For what reason? There's something wrong with this guy. This guy, 100%.
I recorded pacing him and then a picture of my... So anyway, like I said, he just passed me and he disappeared, okay? So my intention was, I've got this on video. I was going to call the station and complain.
Get a hold of me.
Yeah, whoever.
Essentially, that's what we've come to.
Right. So I had no idea where he went, but I turned on 104th to go to the Ford dealership, and he had somebody pulled over, and right at the same time my phone rang. So I noticed that it was the same guy, and I thought, boy, isn't that something if he's given whoever he pulled over a ticket for speeding?
So based on what he just said, that wouldn't it be ironic if he was giving this guy a citation for speeding when he was just speeding, that I, for whatever reason, went out of my way to record him, having no idea what's going on or whatever. There's more to this, because if not, this guy is he's just an asshole. I don't understand why this guy would be going out of his way the way he has.
So I just sat there and I put my phone out the window to record, so that I could get a picture of the guy. And then I just sat in my car, and after he wrote the guy a ticket and let him go, then he came up to me and he said, can I help you? And I said, no. I said, can I get your name and badge number? And he said, what for? And I said, because you were speeding on Highway 85. Oh yeah? I said, yeah, you were doing 80 in a 65. No lights, no sirens, no nothing. And I could tell that you were just your casual driving. So then he opened my car, yanked me out, handcuffed me, and here I sit. And I told him, I want a sergeant. You have no right to do this. So I'd like these handcuffs off. I'd like to be going. I'd like that guy's
That's
information, and I'd like to go on my way here.
That's gonna happen. So,
And I want an apology from that guy.
Oh, dude. It does sound like the officer saw him, pulled over to make contact with him, which is still totally legitimate, going like, why did you stop on my traffic stop? I'd like to explain to you the dangers of that and the situations that I'm dealing with, and maybe in the future you can approach this in a different way. But the fact that this guy's a cop, at the very minimum, this guy should know better than to pull over and interrupt a traffic stop that my officer's on. This guy's definitely wrong.
some of these guys, they forget that it's not against the law for someone to videotape your traffic stop. It's not against the law for them to pull over the side of the road. It's not against the law to make a comment. I'm sorry, I will apologize for the sheriff's office.
Yeah, this is just so agitating. And the fact that this supervisor is approaching it in the way that he is so agitating that he's not backing his guy. This guy could have handled this situation in a way that this never occurred. It occurred because of the way he was acting. This guy acted like an asshole. This guy acted like he wasn't a police officer. This guy acted like he didn't understand the situation or what was going on. This guy went out of his way to investigate a police officer that was in the commission of his duties because he felt he was 15 miles per hour over the speed limit. They should be calling his police department and going, why did this happen? Not saying I agree with the way it was handled, because the officer could have done a much better job, should have backed off, let a sergeant come out and deal with it. But the fact that he's apologizing to this guy based on the way this guy acted, it's super agitating to me. I'm not saying either of them are right, but this guy right here is definitely wrong.